Good morning, this is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and we have the final Centurion card revealed out of Valiant Smashers, and I can't wait to see how good this card is. The three archetypes revealed so far, with, of course, Centurion and the other two, this one is definitely the best one. Don't get me wrong, Val Monaco with the Angel and Demons are cool and all, but I don't think they're going to be meta competitive, at least not with the first wave, since they only have two main deck monsters in the entire deck. And, of course, Memento looks cool. It's based around really old monsters. It's retrains, and it deals with blowing up cards. But everything I've seen so far when it comes to, their playability is very shoddy at best. And, yeah, I don't think those two decks are going to be competitive, at least not with their first wave, unless someone breaks them. But I do think, however, Centurion is going to be the next meta deck going forward. When it comes to these new archetypes revealed after, of course, Duelist Nexus and the next set that happens before Valiant Smashers. So, yes, I think this is going to be a really, really powerful archetype. It all has to do with special summoning monsters from your spell and trap zone, and then quick synchroning on your opponent's turn, which is my favorite mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's why I love Punk and Gold Pride and Goaty, just because all three of these archetypes like to play on your opponent's turn by synchroning into really cool boss monsters. And this deck does the same thing, so I can't wait to see what this card does. This card is Embra Oath. I probably misspelled that or misspoke that whole name, but what can you do? It's a quick play spell. You can only activate one of these cards' names once per turn. Activate one of these effects. So you can only activate one card per turn, and you only choose one of the effects, so you don't get both. First effect is, you can place one Centurion monster from your deck in your face-up spell and trap zone as a continuous trap, and if you do, you can't spell summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn while you control a card with the place card original name except Centurion monsters. So right there, this card already is amazing, because it places your Centurion monsters into your spell and trap zones directly from deck. So this is basically emergency teleport. And yes, it does lock you into Centurions, but if I'm reading this correctly, it only locks you into Centurions on the monsters on the field. Let me read it again, just make sure. It places it into the spell and trap zone as a continuous trap, and then if you do, you can spell summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn while you control a card with a placed original name except Centurion monster. So once this card is linked off or sent to graveyard or synchroed off, you are allowed to special summon anything you want back from the extra deck. So it's a soft restriction. Basically says you get a really, really powerful effect, but you can't use that monster for any synchro. It has to be a Centurion synchro, which makes sense. I think we only have, I think we have two Centurion synchros right now. Actually, no, I think we only have one. I think it's the 12. So, that's interesting. I guess the idea is that they want you to make the 12 first, and then you can do other plays. But, really, really good card if the effects just stop right there. But this has a second effect, because if you remember, the first line of text is you get two effects, but you can only choose one of them, and you can only activate one of these once per turn. So, the second effect that you could choose from is set one Centurion spell or trap directly from the deck. This card is insanely good for the archetype. It is not only just an emergency teleport, because the monsters can spell summon themselves from the spell and trap zone, any of them you put there. So this card literally just says, hey, I'm emergency teleport on legs. But it also can just set any spell and trap directly from your deck. So if you already have all the setup of monsters in your hand, then you say, no problem. Use the spell in my hand, set a spell and trap I don't have. That's a really, really good effect. So it gets to pick and choose what you need in that direct scenario. This card is literally a Rhoda, and also, I can't say Rhoda because it doesn't add anything to hand. So this card can't be ashed, because it sets from deck, and it places from deck. So this card is unashable, which is absolutely insane. This is probably one of the best supports cards I've seen in a very long time for an archetype, because it plays around so many hand traps, it's ridiculous. Yes, you can only activate one of their effects. You can only either get a monster directly from the deck in your spell and trap zone, or you can search a spell and trap and set it onto the field. But It doesn't matter. It's free advantage, and your opponent can't really stop it unless they have spell and trap negation, which is really, really good. Really, really powerful card, and I definitely think this is going to be a 3-up for the deck. The only issue I see is if you have multiples in hand, since it is a hard once per turn. But I don't know. It seems pretty good. I'm definitely putting a play 3 of this thing. But you all tell me in the comments. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.